And let's focus on the top story this hour. The European Union has said that a high-profile corruption probe in Ukraine demonstrates that Kyiv's anti-graft institutions are functioning effectively. The statement comes after Ukraine's anti-corruption investigators carried out searches targeting President Volodymyr Zelensky's top aide as part of an ongoing inquiry. According to officials, the searches were conducted by Ukraine's specialized anti-corruption agencies, which have been central to the country's reform commitments. The investigation, which involves senior figures within the presidential administration, is viewed as one of the most significant corruption cases to emerge in recent months. Listen in.
Indeed, we understand that there are ongoing investigations, and we have a lot of respect for those investigations, which show that the anti-corruption bodies in Ukraine are doing their work.
Now, Brussels has welcomed the operation, noting that the ability to pursue sensitive, high-level cases is a critical benchmark for Ukraine as it seeks deeper integration with the European Union. EU officials said the probe reflects institutional independence and the will to confront entrenchment, corruption, even at the highest levels of government. Glenn Grant, who's a former advisor to Defense Minister of Ukraine, is now joining us live from Kyiv. All right, viewers, there's some connection issue that we are able to establish with our guest as of now, but we'll try to re-establish that connection very quickly. All right, I believe Glenn has joined us now.
Yeah, I'm here, if you can hear me.
Thanks, Glenn, for joining us here at NewsX World, and we appreciate you giving us your time. How do you view the statements that are coming in from Zelensky when his top aide is under scrutiny?
Well, there's two ways you can look at this. The first way is the way that you were talking about, which is that it means the anti-corruption organizations are actually finding their feet and finding some teeth after many years of not doing very much. That is one way. The other way is to wait and see what the outcome of the searches are, because one could be a bit cynical and wonder if the searches are not there to actually to prove innocence, not to prove guilt. So I think we have to wait and see what comes out of this. I think most people consider that Ermak, the aide, is actually taking or has been taking money out of the system, but time will tell.
Do you think the statement that Zelensky made is one similar to containing damage that has been done, because many are clearly saying the corruption allegations on his aides, one of whom is not even deported, are going to weaken or completely destroy Zelensky's cause in negotiations with Russia over the US peace plan?
Well, first of all, there are no negotiations with Russia. People keep talking about this, but the fact that Trump or Trump's team has been talking to Ukraine does not mean anything at all. And the negotiations are not likely to happen. Actually, if Ermak or any of Zelensky's team are taken away, it will strengthen his hand in the country, because for the first time he will have seemed to actually to be involved in something clean and not actually reinforcing corruption. I don't think it'll make any difference with the Russians if they did actually get to discussions, because Putin has already said this week, in the last 2 days, that he can't negotiate with Zelensky because Ukraine is not a proper country.
All right. Well, for now, thank you for joining us, Glenn, and I appreciate you giving us your time here at NewsX World. And with that, viewers, we move on to some more news concerning the European Union. Now, Britain has announced the talks to join the European Union's €150 billion defense fund SAFE have collapsed, marking a major setback in post-Brexit relations. The UK had hoped to reset defense and trade ties with the European Union, But ahead of the deadline, Britain said an agreement could not be reached. Minister Nick Thomas-Symonds expressed disappointment but added that Britain's defence industry could still participate in safe projects under third country terms. The European Union said talks had been conducted in good faith and remains committed to a UK-European Union security partnership. All right. We're expected to be joined in by a special guest on this discussion, but before he joins us, let's tell you viewers that significant developments have been made in this regard, and a strong announcement coming in from the Britain on joining EU's 150 billion euro defense fund. We're learning that talks have completely collapsed, and it marks a major setback in post-Brexit relaxations. Let's bring back Glenn into the discussion here. Glenn, what do you see of these developments and Britain's announcement of the collapse of talks with the European Union?
I think it's sad because at the moment Britain has a huge deficit from the time of Brexit, and someone has written that they think it cost the country sort of just on 100 billion from actually having left the European Union. My suspicion is that actually that's just the easy-looking top figure, and that it's actually much worse in terms of the effect on the country. So Britain needs to actually have a better relationship with the European Union, if only for the sort of trust issue for defence.
What do you think are the other options that Britain is now going to explore? Who is going to fall back on as far as defense equipment and supplies are concerned?
To be blunt, there are no other options. The European Union is next door, which means that Britain logistics is much easier to the European Union than to anywhere else. I mean, it's no good having logistics to Australia or New Zealand or South America, because it costs you a fortune and it's slow. So we need to get back in to close contact with the European Union to get some vitality for the economy again.
And what does it talk about the alleged new era of ties between Britain and the European Union that Keir Starmer was heard saying just some months ago?
Yeah, come on. Keir Starmer just makes lots of words. To have a relationship means you've actually got to make a relationship. Just producing something for the newspapers and for the public doesn't actually do anything. And I don't see that Keir Starmer or any of the other British government members have actually done the spade work around Europe that's required to get a proper relationship.
All right. For now, I thank you, Glenn, for joining us here at NewsX World, and we do appreciate your opinion and perspective. With that, viewers, let's shift our focus to some more news that we are getting. Now, Germany's Chancellor Friedrich